So just to put the word out there, there are more banks that are experiencing unrealized losses that exceed their equity or exceed more than 50% of their equity. So what's happening is because of the interest rate changes, because interest rates are higher, and what happens with interest rates, when you have a bond and interest rates go higher, the lower interest rate bond, that price goes down. It's not wanted as much. People want the bonds with the higher interest rates. So these banks have all these lower interest rate bonds on their balance sheets, and they're not worth as much as they used to be because the Federal Reserve is keeping interest rates higher than what it was a few years ago. So as a result of that, a lot of these banks it's putting pressure on them. And we saw what happened to banks like Silicon Valley Bank and a few others that they did fail. There's rumors of banks, there's the prospect of bank failures like what we saw in 2007 and 2008. So I suspect that this year, being an election year, that the Fed will lower the interest rates just a little bit, maybe a quarter of a point, to sort of boost the numbers, if you will, like the Dow Jones Industrial, S&P, and all that, so that people feel good. They get the illusion of a good economy, so that they are more likely to vote for the establishment candidate. That's usually what happens in every presidential election year. Interest rates go down, gas prices drop during that cycle. The problem is that the Federal Reserve doesn't have the policy room that it used to. So it's getting harder and harder for them to maneuver because you have countries not using the dollar as much for their international trade, because you had all this money printing for all this time, not to mention right after COVID, when everything got locked down. And you have sort of this spiking up and down of money velocity. Whenever money velocity goes up, that also causes monetary inflation. So actually, I'm sorry, price inflation. So the Fed printing money, that's monetary inflation. And then when money velocity goes up, that causes price inflation. So anyway, I'm going to put the link in the description below for those of you to look at the article. And like I said, I'm just giving you a heads up on what is going on.